lovely faces. We're good. All right.
Great. Okay, as the music fades, thank you for that music. So festive.
You're welcome.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Center for Work and Family Life's Thriving Thursdays, taking place the first Thursday of every month. And today's topic is Have a Healthy Holiday Season. And I'm Julie Chowdee, Health and Wellbeing Program Manager in the Center for Work and Family Life. And it's my pleasure, along with Jessica Ayala, to be presenting and spending the next 50 minutes with all of you today. So let's get started. But first, we have some housekeeping items. And like I always say, we invite you to stand if you're able to and stretch anytime during today's presentation. So feel free to get up, move around, stretch, and shake it out. Please mute your audio to minimize any background noise until we open it up for Q&A. But we want to encourage you to use the chat function to make comments, ask questions, talk to each other, and also to let you know, we are recording this webinar and it'll be posted on the CWFL website. So we have a packed agenda today. We'll be covering holiday challenges and ways to navigate the holiday season that's coming up in a healthful way. So I'll briefly introduce myself and then I'll turn it over to Jessica to introduce herself. So I started here about 9 months ago with the Center for Work and Family Life. And in my role, I'll be working with campus partners to design a healthy campus initiative and framework to improve health and well-being for USC faculty and staff and create a healthy work environment. Previous to USC, I was at UC Riverside for 12 years, managing their faculty and staff wellness program and co-chairing Healthy Campus. And I've also held several leadership roles within the UC system for their Healthy Campus Network and their smoke and tobacco-free policy. I received my bachelor's and master's from UCLA, and now I'm happy to be part of the Trojan community. And I'll pass it on to Jessica to introduce herself. Jessica?
I have to unmute myself. Thanks, Julie, for that intro. Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Ayala, licensed clinical social worker and EAP professional. I actually started at USC 3 years ago, but I actually got my master's at the School of Social Work when it was the School of Social Work. So I found myself back here. Prior to that, I was a little bit into private practice, not my thing. And then prior to that, I worked 10 years as a medical social worker for Kaiser. So I love what I do. I love teaching and I love helping people. So we want to just make sure that audience, all our USC people out there, this is supposed to be interactive. We want to make it light. We want to make it informative. So if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat and we'll see what we can do for you. So with that, let's roll it out.
Great. Well, it's holiday time, well, almost holiday time. And with that comes the joys and the challenges of holiday eating, exercise. And really, it's always a challenging time for all of us to try to be healthy this time of year. So if you already live a healthy lifestyle, that's great. Keep it up. But if you're striving for consistency with your health and wellness journey, we're here to help today. And we just want to say, take it one day at a time. Don't stress about treating yourself during the holidays. Just be mindful of balance. The big challenge is to have fun without jeopardizing some of the healthy practices you worked on so hard throughout the year. So now we want to hear from you before we begin. In the chat, tell us, how do you feel about the upcoming holiday season? With Thanksgiving coming up, whatever you celebrate, Christmas, Hanukkah, other holidays, how do you feel? Let's hear from you in the chat. Are you excited? Are you ready for some
Julie,
time off? Yeah.
As I mentioned, Hanukkah's coming early. Oh, Suzanne says a little stressed, but excited. Yeah, I'm kind of a little, hosting. I'm not going anywhere. What about you?
I'm looking forward to just seeing people and having lunches and dinners. I'm dreading the holiday traffic and the hustle and bustle, but anyone else? Any other?
We got somebody who says, I'm cooking dinner for my family right now, so not having my camera. What are you cooking? Sounds good. So Crystal says she's stressed but hopeful. What does that mean? Stressed but hopeful.
Yeah.
Janine says excited to host pre-Thanksgiving next week for my family before we fly to. Oh my
Hawaii.
goodness. Awesome. A little nervous, extended. Ooh, what are the demands? Well, you know what, Sarah, you've come to the right place, and all of you reading all your messages, the chat's like blowing up. Pretty cool. I'm excited for Maryland going to the DR to an all excuse. Oh, how fabulous. OMG. Dreading the cold weather. Carla says, okay, I get it. All right, I get it.
That's great. Keep
Hoping-
it coming.
Meredith says, hoping it to make it simple this year, easy to buy gifts to keep my, oh, yes, we go over that too. And then Janine says, I am the one making dinner. Cherry balsamic. What?
Yum.
Wow. This is like, it's making me hungry. All right. So
okay.
Go ahead, Julie.
Yes. So what do the holidays mean to us? And you've all shared some of your, how you're feeling. So I wanted to just, let you know, according to American Psychological Association, the holiday stress statistics show that 69% of people are stressed by feeling like they have a lack of time. So many obligations, right? So many things to do. Another 69% are stressed by perceived lack of money, all those gifts and parties and celebrations. And 51% are stressed out about the pressure to give or to receive gifts. So the holidays are also a special time to bring family, friends, and colleagues together to celebrate. It might be difficult to face the holidays when someone we love is no longer here to celebrate with us. So Jessica will speak a little bit to that later. The holidays are also time off to recharge, but days and nights may be spent with commitments and obligations. So how do we balance all that? And then also memories. Holidays are time to reflect on memories and past holidays. So just remember that even though it may be a stressful time, self-care is really important. So taking care of yourself this holiday season so you're not overeating or over drinking, and think about your nutrition, moderation, rest, regular exercise is more important now than ever before. So another question for all of you. Speaking of self-care and healthy habits, we want to hear from you again in the chat. What healthy habits do you struggle with to maintain during the holiday season? Why did you come to this webinar? What are some holiday habits you might be struggling with?
Carbs.
Let's hear.
Cookies.
What do you struggle with, Jessica?
Cookies, carbs, who have kids. I know, and any of you out there have kids, they want to bake. They want to, it's like that warm, like my gingerbread cookies, like I would go for that. Too much sugar. Yes, Meredith, I feel you. Yeah, overindulgence. Yes. Yes, Suzanne, they're my weakness.
Baked goods. Carla has some challenges exercising when it's too cold too.
Ooh. And then Janine says, been good about working out before my Hawaii trip. But oh yeah, chocolate. I swear I jacked all my kids' chocolates for Halloween. Boundaries, Sarah says, kids, gifts, families. Yeah.
It's a lot.
But you know what's really cool? It's like we all feel the same way as we're reading the chat. We all are feeling the same way. So you're not alone. I feel that way. And, it's taking it one day at a time. So just, you're not alone. Take it away, Julie.
Absolutely. So thank you all for sharing. And here are some holiday healthy habits just to get you started. First thing is, it's not about the actual holiday. So practice healthy habits every day throughout the holidays, not just on the holiday itself, because what you do on the actual holiday isn't the main concern. It's really all the days in between. So you might encounter holiday treats at work, every day at work, skip workouts to finish holiday shopping. These situations are going to come up more frequently than a one-time binge on a holiday. So just think about what you do on a daily basis, and that is what really matters. Let go of perfect. We don't expect perfection in our work, in our school, in our relationships. So there's no need to expect perfection when we think about our health routines during the holidays. If you miss a workout, if you overeat at a party, it's not the end of the world. Just get right back on track right away. Not January 1st, not next year, but get back on track right away. And then also think about focusing on food and fitness Monday through Friday, and build as many healthy meals and workouts as you can That way you have some wiggle room during the weekend to indulge and relax a little bit. Changing your focus is also important. The holiday season is a wonderful time to cultivate connections with family, friends, and colleagues. So instead of a bunch of parties where you go and eat and drink, maybe focus on building relationships and making memories. And then sleep. Sleep deprivation messes up your mind and your appetite. So when we're sleep deprived, our body produces more of the hunger hormone that increases our desire to eat, especially carbs and sugar. So by getting enough sleep, your body will better regulate the hunger cues, which will make it easier for you to moderate consumptions of those tasty holiday treats. Focus your time on friends, family, and fun instead of food. So the more you're talking, the less you'll be eating. And then finally, stick to a budget. Look at your finances in advance and plan accordingly about buying gifts, or when you're hosting meals and events, try to stick to a holiday budget, create one in advance, and stick with it. So these are just some general tips to help you get started for this upcoming holiday season. So now I'd like to turn over to Jessica to talk about how to handle and manage healthy holiday stress. Jessica, you might
Thank you so
unmute.
much.
There you go.
So I'm here. Yeah. So I feel like this here. I think sometimes it's just a little overwhelming, but stress is stress. We always have some form of stress. But according to the survey, 45% of the people living in the US would choose to skip out of the holidays and rather than deal with the stress. So again, that's that fight or flight response where you're just like, I don't want to deal with that. It's too overwhelming, just the thought of that. And I want to apologize to all our attendees if I happen to trigger you. It's no intention, but I understand that that is something that is on the forefront. So, but we're here to support you. So some symptoms of stress is irritability, anxiety, worrying, like, oh my gosh, how many people, or short fuse, irritable. I would have to say I have a short fuse around this time. Like my bandwidth sometimes is not that great. So I have to be mindful of that. It's like, okay, another stressor is lack of sleep. Or when you go to sleep, you don't feel rested when you rise in the morning. As Julie was saying earlier, increased substance abuse or alcohol, that's the ETOH, consuming more alcohol, you're disconnected, you're not really dealing with the thing. So you have to be mindful of that. It's a form of checking out, which is again, isolating self, poor concentration, mood swings, and racing thoughts. So again, these symptoms, everybody goes through these, everybody has them. Remember, we're all human beings. We all have the same wiring. We all have brains. We all have a nervous system. We all have the same wiring. So you're going to feel this way. So some examples that will probably have the stressors is trying to be a gracious host. And this is why we wanted the chat, because we wanted to hear from you guys, all the people, what really stresses them out. And being a gracious host, trying to please everyone. I think some of the beautiful, yummy dishes that I saw in the chat, but it is stressful because you want to make it special, but then you don't want to overextend. And then another comment in the chat was splitting time. I think 2 sets, there was 2 sets of in-laws. So how are you going to do that? Are you going to go to one and spend a certain amount of that time? Are you going to do it in one day? That's very stressful, especially too if you have children, because then you have to, go back and forth. That has to do with the travel time, keeping traditions, and kind of what Julie was saying about if someone passed away or if there's different transitions in loss, keeping those traditions, not keeping those traditions, or the guilt of not doing the way we used to do Christmas or holidays or any other activity. Another thing that's coming up is because of COVID, being in a large group. Do you want to be inside? Oh, that's stressful. Well, who are we going to have over? Again, the shopping and financial stress is like, I need to set a budget and sticking with that and giving yourself permission, and remind yourself that the meaning is to stay with family and the closeness and the bonding. And then again, holiday activities and work. So then I hear everybody planning dinner and then they're working too. So that's stressful. It's like toggling back and forth. Next slide, please. So here we go with the tips of managing holiday stress. So this would be pretty much what you would do if you were doing non-holiday stress. The only thing is you just got a nice little layer of stress. So you, especially for anything, it's like you have your little tips of tools. So you always want to plan ahead and give yourself that space. So again, if you're hosting, obviously you want to pace yourself and how you would plan that out. The other thing is you always, with all of these too, and it's not the last one, is ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. Sometimes we feel like we have to do it all, especially as mothers, we have to do it all. We have to have everything perfect. And then what happens? You're not really present. So I have to say, I found myself at times where we're hosting and I'm so busy hosting and making sure everybody's attended to that I'm not even enjoying the experience. So it's okay to ask for help. The other thing for family dynamics, we all have some type of family strain or drama, and just acknowledge it, not to run away from it, but that's also ties in with prepping yourself and priming yourself. Again, it all ties into self-care, and it's okay to say no. It is okay, and to give yourself permission. You know what? It's okay. And if you want to do something or help out or host, it's because you truly want to, not because you're being pressured into it. There's a different state of being. And then also with the budget, you don't have to be extravagant. You don't have to go overboard, and it's okay to keep a budget. So all these things encompass giving yourself permission and setting limits and boundaries. Next slide. So we're going to talk a little bit of grief. And I know grief, there was a lot of loss this year, but grief and loss doesn't necessarily mean about death. It could be a loss of a job, it could be a loss of a home, it could be loss of a pet. But also grief is the normal and natural emotional reaction to a loss or a change of any kind. So even like grief and loss going back to work, going into the office. So of in itself, grief is neither a pathological condition nor a personality disorder. So everybody's going through some form of grief and loss. It's not necessarily a death of a loved one or a pet. Next slide, please. So this is really interesting with stages of grief and loss. There are 5 stages, and you can walk around with your hand. So it's anger, denial, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And we go in and out of these stages. It's not chronologically, like I had mentioned. You also have to remember you have family members that are going through the same grief and loss. So someone could be at bargaining, meaning we should have done that, we could have done that. And someone could be in denial. And they would say, the person who's going through the bargaining is like, they don't even care. But because they're going through their own stages of grief and loss. So you have to be mindful, just because you're at a certain stage with a family member or a friend, they may be at a different stage. So that's, again, moving forward, it goes to acknowledging the loss and acknowledging what stage you are in. Okay. And then being realistic. It's okay to feel what you're feeling. If it's a loss of a loved one, I miss mom, or I miss dad, or I miss, my auntie, or if it's a pet or even a house, like I miss our old house, or some kids who, a lot of kids, when they weren't going into school, there was a lot of grief and loss because they were online learning. So again, if you're feeling overwhelmed by these things, don't cancel the holiday, because then again, you're not acknowledging the loss. It's okay to say what you're feeling and allow yourself to grieve. And that's where the family or friends and support draw comfort from your family and support. And then also looking outside of yourself, doing something for others. That also is very helpful. Next slide, please. So again, some of the examples of doing other things for, act of kindness, which is really cool. It produces dopamine in your body, those natural organic chemicals. And so there's some examples that you can do. It's so basic. If you're at Starbucks, buy a coffee for somebody, behind you. Or I love notes, and somebody, actually the other day, someone wrote me a lovely note and I was so happy. And I got a gift card from someone, and it was like, oh, I was so happy. I was like, oh, okay. I felt really good. So it's always nice. You get what you give. Some other ways you can donate clothes. I know a lot of shelters right now, they need socks or undergarments for the homeless shelter. Something so basic as saying hello. As we were doing this webinar, I'm like, hi, so and so. It's nice to say hello. We're seeing you, we're engaging. And the other thing is, you know, just remember that it doesn't have to be extravagant when you give. It's the little things. I remember my mom growing up, she used to make tamales. And so I would go to the neighbors because we lived in Ocalzec, and I would give tamales and they would be so happy. And then my neighbor would give us these candy. So it was
Mhm.
such a nice way of giving back. And it was really nice during the holidays. Next slide. That would be you, Julie.
Great. Well, I love the tamales, Jessica. I have to bring some to us.
Oh, she makes the best tamales. Thanks.
So thank you for all that great information, Jessica. So we heard from a lot of you in the chat that you struggle with eating during the holiday season because there's so many treats everywhere at work, at home, everywhere you go. So here's a few quick tips we wanted to share about healthy eating during the holiday season. The first one is, as you're going somewhere to a party, some festivities, do not arrive hungry. Skipping meals before a holiday party as an attempt to save calories will only make you overeat. So you want to enjoy a light meal or snack before the party, and it could be something that's high in fiber and lean protein, which is ideal to help control your appetite and to avoid overeating. So definitely don't save up and then you might end up binging. You can also bring something to the party. I often do this. It's a great way to ensure that you have something healthy there to eat, whether it's an appetizer, a side, or dessert. And I'm sure the host or hostess will thank you for contributing to their party. Drinking, watch the liquid calories. A lot of drinks contain a large number of empty calories. A cup of eggnog can set you back about 360 calories. Hot chocolate around 200 calories, and all those mixed drinks with punches over 200 calories, and really a lot of sugar. So if you can, choose low calorie beverages, maybe sparkling water with a splash of juice or even some wine. Remix your own recipes. So we all have our traditional dishes that we like to prepare. It might just be swapping one ingredient for another or finding a healthier version of your favorite recipe. And that could make a big difference without sacrificing flavor. So it might be just substituting out one item and putting in something else, maybe less sugar and more pumpkin in your pumpkin bread, for example. Choosing plates. Smaller plates will prevent you from filling up your plate too much. And really, do you need all that food on your plate? So if you can, choose a smaller plate and then fill up that plate, and it looks like you'll have more than you really need. And then finally, we like to go back for more treats, more food, and it usually takes a while for your brain to register that it's full. So when you're done eating, just take a break before you go back for seconds, maybe have some water, talk to other people, and then you might realize you really don't need that second or third serving. So just some quick tips there for managing holiday eating. And then now a shift to staying active. And we heard in the chat that sometimes it's hard when it's cold or you're traveling to, say, Hawaii, and you want to fit in your exercise. So as you know, you normally would, regardless of whether it's a holiday or not, plan ahead. Schedule your workouts into your day so you know exactly what you're doing, when and where, and what equipment you might need. And if you're traveling, look up the hotel gym or maybe a local gym that you can go to. And don't forget your workout gear. During the holidays, there's a lot of races, turkey trots, jingle bell runs. So sign up for one and participate. It's also a great way to give back and also get into the holiday spirit. And then maybe engage your family and friends. So many gatherings focus on food and sitting around. So why not coordinate something where you're walking and talking about what you're thankful for, or planning your next get together while walking. Moving in the morning is a great way as the weather starts to shift. Getting up could be a chore, but it allows you to get up and get it out of the way before all that holiday shopping and celebrations get underway. So consider exercising in the morning, first thing, and also plan active celebrations. So maybe instead of parties and dinners, you might plan a family hike or a game of football or go dancing with your girlfriends or sign up for a special holiday class. And then finally, take advantage of seasonal offerings. This is a great time when gyms are offering special membership discounts, maybe special personal training packages. And it's also less crowded during the holidays. So it might be a great time for you to get out there and try some new equipment, try some new classes. So just some ways to think about getting active. And then there's also sports too, like winter sports like snowboarding or skiing, or maybe hiking through the snow, things you can do during the winter that you wouldn't be able to do in the summer. So take advantage of that. And then finally, just wanted to share some healthy gift ideas. We'll also drop in the chat some more suggestions. We've created a handout for you. So giving the gift of health by purchasing healthy items for friends, family, and anyone on your list. Would love to hear in the chat if there's any ideas that you might have to share with the rest of us. What are some of your favorite healthy holiday gift ideas? Feel free to share. We've listed a few here. Sleeping masks, that helps to ensure healthy sleep by blocking out light. Maybe an old-fashioned pedometer to count your steps, or a reusable water bottle to fill up at work, a lunch bag for those that might want to bring their lunch to work and keep it cool. Feel free to share. Board games for social connection with friends and family, or even a home-cooked meal. I know someone was cooking, and that could be a great gift, is giving the gift of time to your loved ones by providing them with a meal. Gear, workout gear, tennis shoes, maybe it's a massage, a healthy cookbook, a yoga mat. There's so many options there that you can consider for gift giving. So let me pause and see if there's any comments in the chat. For our kid, we do 4 gifts: one thing to wear, one thing to read, one thing he wants, and one thing he needs. I love that. I love.
Oh, it rhymes. I love that.
What do you give, Jessica? Any healthy gifts that you give out to your friends and family?
Healthy gifts. I like the healthy gifts. So like, get me that water bottle. I love it. Get me, like, I got a, Apple Watch. I love it. I'm like a tech geek. So I love stuff like that. But yeah, my kids want they want, well, no, that's not true. Scooter, bike, my little one, my oldest is like into like Animal Crossings. That's kind of where I'm at. What about you?
I get a lot of healthy gifts. I think just because of the nature of my role and my work. So I get a lot of like workout clothes, tennis shoes. In terms of giving out gifts, yeah, it just varies. I try to give out things that are healthy for sure, like skincare products, for healthy skin or healthy foods.
Yeah. My daughter, my oldest, likes Lush. So she likes like the pampering. This is so exciting. Anybody else want to chime in? It's in terms of what you like to get. What would you like to get that would really make you happy? Marilyn says, my sisters and I have been doing a lot of puzzles. So that seems, I love puzzles. I did a lot of puzzles when we were sheltering at home.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Great puzzles.
Great share. Anybody else have anything else to share? This is for you. Skincare. A rowing machine. Those are awesome. I know, great skincare is the best. I love having, and that's again, the self-care, just even the thought of thinking of skincare. I was like, oh, that feels so nice. Or a rowing machine. Oh yeah, it feels good.
Susan's asking for a lot.
That's okay. It's part of self-care.
Love that.
Love the interaction, ladies. And
thank you. Well, I think we're at our last slide, and that is one last interactive question we have for you now that you've heard all of our strategies and ways to navigate the upcoming holiday season. We want you to tell us what's one thing you will do this holiday season to improve your health and well-being. And this is a commitment to yourself. Think about some of the things we shared. Is there one thing that you can share, or more if you like, that you will do to improve your health and well-being this holiday season?
Keep a journal.
Okay.
Speaking of journals, I have a journal. I
And that's a-
actually do this all the time. Yeah.
That's a great gift too.
Yeah, journals are great.
Mhm,
You know,
mhm.
I think also, get more sleep. Well, then you can use your eye mask and get more sleep. Keeping focus on the moment. That is really so
Yeah.
good, Sarah. It's being mindful. And I sometimes when we're planning, Marilyn says, I'm not sure what would be nice. Oh, you guys are blowing up the chat. Woo, I love it. Reinstitute what we are grateful for with Mike. Oh, I love that at bedtime. I have 2 girls too. And that's the best time. I think that's a beautiful micro habit of crafting. That's awesome too.
Mhm.
Being grateful because you want to go into sleep. You want to bring that into sleep. So that's a really good micro habit to have is gratitude. And then when you rise in the morning, like, oh, thank you. I'm rising. It's a new day. It's a new beginning. These are such really great
Mhm.
well-being.
Nice long walk on the beach while on vacation. That
Ah,
sounds amazing.
I know. Can I come?
Great things.
I just want to ask, is this helpful? What is there any questions? This is the time to ask, any questions? Because we have a few minutes. So-
Mhm. Yeah, let me stop sharing. Oh, here's our contact information. If you want to get a hold of either one of us, you know where to find us. And I'll stop sharing. That way I could actually see the squares on my screen and see some of you who have your camera on.
Yeah.
There we go. See each other.
Yay, there they are.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I feel like romper room. I see Cynthia. I see Susan. It's a little bit, I'm aging myself. Carla, I see. This
There's
is
Jeanette
awesome.
and Sarah.
This is fantastic.
Any
So
questions
we
or
want to hear
comments?
from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or how can we help?
Yeah, we're here to help you. Any questions?
No questions?
Really? I feel like going once, going twice. So we hope this is very helpful for you. And again, we do work at the Center for Work and Family Life. If you feel like you're welcome. Thank you. So if you need more individual sessions, you know where to contact us. Again, we are still here for questions. So if you want to talk, and thank you, Susan, for the address. Great to connect with you, Janine. I hope you have a wonderful trip.
So jealous, Hawaii.
I know. Let's sneak on the plane with her. You're welcome, Julie. We'll be your stowaways.
Well, thank you all. If there's no other questions, if there is, you know how to find us. We really appreciate your time and being part of this Thriving Thursdays.
Yeah.
Our next one, I believe, is on December 2nd. And I don't recall the topic offhand, but I think is Crystal still on? I think she's presenting, she's co-presenting, right? Do you want to share anything, Crystal? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you want to share what you and Angela are doing for December 2nd?
Yes, so we'll be focusing on energy renewal and management of our energy during holidays.
Ooh, you hear that, everyone? Be sure to tune in. That would be a good one.
Thank you. Looking
Thanks,
forward to seeing
Crystal.
everyone.
Yeah, and Cindy just shared memberships to national parks and the outdoors, another great gift idea, or for yourself.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Wonderful. Okay, well, we can wrap up. It's about 12:36. Thank you so much for your time. Have a healthy holiday season, everyone.
Thank you for spending your lunch with us.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.